Let there be light, and there was light. Okay, I'm just being like a good girl right now, just following the guidance of Mother Eve. Really telling me as well to do another presentation on activating your Kundalini. Now, there I thought I was all, through with doing 2 videos or presentations on that, and that would have been sufficient. But I think it's Mother Eve's way of saying, get ready. It's like the word time scale. And I heard myself saying time scale, that was coming out quite frequently until I really stopped and questioned Mother Eve about, well, what is it about the time scale? Each time I wanted to say timetable, I was saying time scale. And so that was Mother Eve's way of saying the time scale. We need to be mindful of the time scale. The time scale is that we are ending a 7,000 year cycle, and it is crucial that we get ready to move in onto the next cycle. But we need to be ready. We need to be ready for that 8th cycle. Now, if you do not understand the cycles, it is biblical. Basically, what we are discovering now is that the Bible has been a manual for our life, but that we had not understood the magnitude of that manual. It is through numerology I am now beginning to understand the magnitude of that manual that we have been given. It's in the Bible. So basically, as I have covered quite a few things in my presentations of what I have discovered in Genesis of chapter 1 and 2, is that we are the result of an experiment. We are in essence of 6 different entities, species, whatever it is that was made, that was used to make us through the experiment of 6 black women were experimented on, and then we have this race or races from that experiment. We also are of 14 gods, which we have discovered in Genesis of chapter 1 and 2. So Genesis of chapter 1 is 9 gods. Those 9 gods come like the God of making, the God who made, the God who formed, the God who set, the set God, the said God, the God of movement, the God of planting, and so on. Then the 5 gods is our 5 senses. Okay, so our touch, sight, smell, and so on. Okay. So that's giving you, these are the gods within us, and this is why now we understand as well the magnitude of getting those gods working together, is that they create a chatter in our minds. Now in that chatter of our minds, we have a responsibility to master, we could say, master the art of getting those gods to not just do as they tell us, but do as we tell them. Thank you, Mother Eve. This is what Mother Eve is now showing us, or ready to show us, how to master the art of being the captain of our ship. Captain of our ship. There's the word ship again, about relationship, friendship, whatever ships are coming. Although I am still going to say I see them as trams, but Mother Eve now has said ships or boat. Of course, in the last presentation, this is why we often hear about, I don't want to miss the boat. Mother Eve now is using those very words. I do not want you to miss the boat. I want you to get onto that boat. The boat is really a number 8. It is set. It is the set, we could say a set of 2 circles which form 8. That's the set. And the word set, the word set is actually 8. This is 2, 5:1. When we see the S before the word, it is Mother Eve making her presence felt very much there. It's like she is leading us to, well, E.T. Okay, so wasn't E.T. a very nice character? Okay, and of course he had to sort of get out of his, whether he got lost or out of his comfort zone, whatever it is. That's what Mother Eve is really trying to get us to understand. Now we need to be getting out of our comfort zone. For that reason, she is now recommending that we have our pineal gland activated, which is called the Kundalini rise. And it has many names. And of course, this is also the Christ spirit that dwells within you and quickens your mortal body to the beauty of his holy name. His is 19. When we hear of his, we are not necessarily thinking gender here. We are thinking of numbers and see the beauty of his. His is really the ladder that shows you how to be ease. So this is 8 again. His is 8 and this is 10. 1 plus 8 is 9. Showing you how to birth something new. This is a newness, a new state of being that we are being advised to get into. This is where when we have the Christ spirit, the word Christ, Christ, is 2199. The aspects of birthing, it's like it said it's 2 serpents goes up the spinal cord. It's like two births are happening right there with the I and R. Then we have H and we have 3. Adding this together, this is 3. Adding this together is 2. If we add 2 plus 3 equals 5, this is also Mother Eve. The Christ spirit is Eve. Now, whether we added these 9s together, it would make no difference, because 9 and 9 is 18, and 1 plus 9 is 10. 9 and 9, 18. 1 plus 8 is 9. So even if we added 9 to 5, we would still end up with 5. That's the magic of what Mother Eve wants us to experience, that new state of being. The new state of being is that which the new state of being. When you are in Christ, we often hear you are a new creature. The creature is that when we get the story of Eve, or the story of Adam and Eve in the scriptures, is that the serpent was cast to the ground. Cast. C-A-S-T. But in the middle of the word C-A-S-T is the word as. As. There is presence. That is telling us this is cast. There is a present there, right there. And the present that was there as is really the serpent. Of course, when we add this together, let's see 1, 1. This is 5, 6, 7. I'm just doing this intuitively because Mother Eve is right here with me now. She wants us to get it. S-E-V-E-N. In the middle of the word 7 is Mother Eve. She's saying, I am there with you. I want you to go through this, and I want you to trust you. I want you to trust this experience. Trust me. That's why we hear it in the story. She's saying, trust in me. Trust in me. I don't quite know how the song goes in Jungle Book, but she's singing here. She's asking to trust because it's about getting your activation. She wants you to let go and release. Now, oftentimes, this is what Mother Eve is asking me to say now. Oftentimes, people, when they feel, okay, I have let my guard down and something terrible happens, Mother Eve is saying that it's important you look beyond that. Is that that event or experience was necessary for you to acquire your optimum awareness. So it's that we think that it's basically we tend to think, well, like it said, curse something. and not looking for the gem in it. Mother Eve wants to show us how to find the gem in this journey. Right here. So we talk about 7 and we added this together and we have 7. Now the serpent, serpent, also equals 7. Right here, serpent. Mother Eve wants us to get this. And in my observation, I have noticed that wherever we have 3 5s in a word, Mother Eve is very present, very present. It's like the 5 equals, of course, as we have done, Christ equals 5. The serpent equals 5. No, snake equals 5. Kundalini equals 5. Pineal gland equals 5. We are talking numerical values here. The pyramid equals 5. So these are things we want to really pay attention to. So when we add this together, here we are. That is 10, and this is 20. This is 25 and 20. 25 and 2 is 27. 7 plus 7 is 34. 3 plus 4 is 7. This is what Mother Eve is saying. Now 7 here is really, again, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters. This is what, and the word serpent is also the word present. This is what Mother Eve wants us to see, that she is a present, but we need to be able to activate our awareness of this present, or interact with the serpent in this sense. Allow our guard down, but be prepared, because it is, if you look at snake hunters, for instance, they constantly tell us that as long as the serpent or the snake does not feel threatened, then it will not harm you. And that's what Mother Eve is now saying to us. That's why she's asking us to trust, so she won't harm us. I have had my Kundalini experience, and of course it was painful, but also I knew it was something very grand and very wonderful, even before it had fully subsided, because I had convinced myself somehow that there would be on the other side of that experience something far beyond my wildest imagination, something wonderful that I had not dreamt of. And of course, I had dreamt on being an author for 10 years or so, which I hadn't, in fact, it was when I was writing and I went to dig up my old journals, and I realized in one of my journals, it was actually 10 years when I realized that I am a writer. I am a writer, and I realized that day, I'll never forget when I first realized, it was like Spirit told me, you've got to do this. And I cried. Why me? Do I have to? And I did a whole load of other activities and engagements and projects to have avoided that which I had to do. But after my Kundalini experience, I was writing like there was no tomorrow. I was writing, and I was writing with such authenticity. I was writing things that I once felt ashamed of. I felt guilty about. I was writing things of my childhood that I would not have previously questioned. I was writing, and I was finding answers. I was finding answers, and I was finding, in that experience, I was feeling so empowered just to be able to ask questions, just to be able to see what was written on the paper. When I wrote my introduction for my first volume, and I thought, wow, I knew it was like really succinct and really, I just knew. And when I showed my niece, and she says, wow, I can't wait to hear the rest of it. So basically, there are talents that has been deposited within us. There are gifts that has been given to us when we came into this world that is seeking to be realized, that is seeking to be expressed, but it is awaiting our awakening to be manifested. It cannot happen by itself. And that's what Mother Eve is now telling us. That setting that we are going on, it is a setting. The world is like a stage. Now Mother Eve is really talking. The word set equals 17. Well, it equals 8, sorry. And we find it in Genesis of chapter 1, verse 17. If we add 17, that gives us 8. When we add this, but the one chapter, of course, would be 9. It's telling us that whatever is set in this verse of 17, which also is the number for God, the word God is also 17. When we add these together, of course, it's telling us that there is where things are set. There is a setting, there is the stage, and that's what more and more now I am remembering Hollywood. There is a set, they are setting the stage. Now the stage, Mother Eve is saying, is set already for the 8th dimension, which is also the 5th dimension. Now I can only show you how that is in case you're thinking why the 5th and the 8th, but Mother Eve has showed us. We have a pictorial representation of it. Now, but before I move on, I want to encourage you that this setting, this world where we are at, the acts that we are exhibiting is meant to be through the gifts that has been given to us. Now, for instance, there's how Mother Eve is getting me to put it now. Would you not think it wise to find the right audience that would appreciate your talents, your gifts, instead of squandering them? So if you were an actress or a singer and you had the opportunity to sing to a large group of people who you knew within your heart would appreciate every note you sang, would you not rather sing to that group than another group that would be in so much pain, that would resent you from singing, or resent your singing in their presence because they got too much pain to bother to even hear what you were singing, or to even bother appreciate or even notice you because they are in so much pain of their own? This is what Mother Eve is saying. Get onto that stage. Get ready to go on that stage, that setting, to cast. It's a cast right there. That's what Mother Eve did when she cast. She had her first cast. And her first cast was of 8. Number 8. We are talking about number 8. So the set was cast with 8. Or 8 was the cast. Or 8 individuals. Now the number 8 is that which sets things into motion. This is where we are saying it's a setting. And of course set is like 2 sets of 4s. This is why the blue for the sky is actually 31, and earth I think is 31, and blue is when I say earth, blue, and let's just do this. So blue, BLUE, and green for earth. So one is sky and one is earth. Okay, so this is 5. As I say, wherever you see all the 5s, you see in Mother Eve. And this is 15, of course, and 16. So that's 31. and the other one is 13. So this would be 2, 3, 3, 5, and we'd add these together. If you are new to numerology, by the way, I have a series of templates to numerology on how to work these figures and letters and to get the numerical values. Okay, now that's on Primary Queen, actualizing self love, templates to actualizing self love, and templates to numerology. Okay, now but that's what Mother Eve really is telling us, that she wants us to get onto being a member of the caste. That's why the word remember, so she wants us to be a member, but is remember. Remember, you are renewing our membership. And as the word or the name Eve exists in our sphere as the mother of all living, Eve is where the things, or you could say it's the incubation. I had not even seen it like this before, but the B, we have been coming across those B words like broken. This is why we hear in Hollywood or places, people they break you down and build you back. And that is what is required of every human, to have that transformation. But is what you are going to be built back into that's important, and how you are going to be broken. Are you going to be broken beyond repair, or you're going to be broken with all certainty that you are going to be stronger ever than before? Ever, E-V-E, with Eve again. It's always with Eve, forever, whenever. Eve is there central in everything we do. And that's why she is calling us. She's saying, come, I want you to hear my side of the story. All this resentment about your relationship with your mother, all this resentment, it's the root of that resentment that you have with your mother, or with your father, or with your siblings, or with your colleagues, or your workmate, which is saying, whoever it is that you have these issues with, it is because you have not understood the relationship, the root of the relationship that you have with me. And she is saying that you had the other side of the coin. You were presented a side of the coin. I want you to see this side of the coin right now. I want you to see that which is the truth that you had not been told, or you had not even begin to wrap your mind around to understand that there is another side. You keep battling about what is true, what is not true, but you are not taking time to come and sit with me and hear me out. That is what Mother Eve is saying. Come, let's reason. Ask me all the questions you want to know, because I will point you to where all the answers are. And she is saying that all the answers are right there. She's going to show you where the answers are. She's going to show you. And that's also the earth too, stroke earth, the pyramid. And she's saying all these things are within you, in the core of your being. This A is your pyramid in the core of your being. Don't be scared to go way down inside to find them. In fact, she has given me much more than all of this, but I'm just giving you what I have right now, reaching at hand. And she's saying, come home, because home, they always say, is where the heart is. And I have just showed you the heart. By the way, it just come to me, and maybe it means that if you're watching this, Mother Eve is saying, get grounded. whether it is cold, hot, whatever the temperature is outside. It is time you connect with the earth. Connect with the earth. Put your feet down on that ground, that which you call dirt, because everything is a cycle. That's why she's saying that I have taken that low state of being on the ground, and you call me snake. But I've put my belly on the ground to show you that you can put your feet on the ground. If I can put my belly on the ground, so you can put your feet on the ground. She's teaching you how. This is why when we do not pay attention, of course she stings us, because she really wants us to hear. That's why she's going, listen, listen, listen. Her tongue goes out, listen. So otherwise, she's going to help us to go up and go up. And this is where we would have done full circle. She's asking us to activate that Kundalini, the serpent within us. The serpent is within us. Everything that we see out is a projection of that which we are. The elements of those things within us, and the only way that we can really overcome those elements in that way is to really get them activate that which we have been told, that the serpent is the wisest of all creatures. Now I am going to ask a question. If we are told that the serpent is the wisest of all creatures, and that's in the Bible, and in the Bible it tells you, seek wisdom, and seek it and find it, and when you find it, cherish it and make sure that you guard it. And then we were also told that Solomon was the wisest of all men. We speak of his teachings are spoken of as something to be envied. Wisdom is something that is spoken to be achieved. Yet still, we do not want to follow the trail of the serpent. How silly that sounds. Do we not understand that we have been conditioned by people who have actually followed the trail of the serpent, just so that it is seen that they would be wiser than anyone else, to be spoken of as though they were Solomon, and then you would be the one reading about them? And yet, don't we think we deserve to be wise? I want to show you this. This is how Mother Eve guides us. When I went into writing, already I knew what the book was going to be called, because the visions were so vivid. Of course, I would find myself doing a cutting and doing my vision board, not thinking that it would have been the title of this to be called The Crimson Light. This is volume 1, The Crimson Light by Crimey Queen. And I was writing really non-stop, and I had to find the place that was conducive to write. And Mother Eve was also guiding me. The place where I began writing, and of course it was no longer conducive. Mother Eve would find a way that someone would even call me and say, without me conveying what was happening, I would get a telephone call to say, Auntie, I don't know what is happening, but God has told me that you should come out of where you're at. And I am quite happy for you to stay with me. I would get such a telephone call. And even then, I was just thinking, I want to end my 40 day of that's all I want to do now. I am writing and I want to continue my ritual, because that would mean I had to entertain doing this ritual, of course, which is a private thing in somebody else's house, which I have not even been there and know what it's like, because I'm talking about oils and fragrances and so on. But I had the call a second time, and then I had it a third time, and then on the third time, of course, I went. And then, of course, I was writing one book, and I thought I was writing one book. And towards publishing the book, of course, and Spirit again guiding me said, no, this is two books now again, because I have a bit of a stubborn streak. Even before completely writing, I had seen the vision, which had taken me to a place called Jerusalem Street. In fact, I did the numerical value for Jerusalem, which I believe is 5. I think I really want to do this. Jerusalem. Is it Zalem? Jerusalem is Lem, right? Okay, 159311354. Okay, so this is 9, sorry, 12, 13, 14, 14, 17, 17, 26, 31, 32. That's correct. 32. Now that's high. It actually, 32 actually is the same numerical value for the word high. So I had this vision going Jerusalem Street, and my books were published, and a woman pulled a drawer and gave me one copy, and then she says, hold on, you have another copy. And I still was thinking, I just want to write this book. I just want to get it over and done with, as if it was, it's not really quite as if it were a chore, but so much energy that I was letting out, because in the process of writing was my healing. There were times I was flat on the floor crying with pain. The pain was still in me. It's not as if having a Kundalini experience, it's just a one thing and that's it. It may be like that for some people, but it wasn't like that for me, because there was so much pain had been stored inside of me and oozing out all this periodically. Well, quite often throughout my writing, I would have to stop and go and take some long walks and come back, or I would just lay flat on the floor with streaming tears just streaming down my face. And after a while, it was so often, it was occurring so often, of course, and that was in 2013. So we all know that there was a shift happening at that time. The 2012 and 2013 was that major shift. In fact, the shift had started for me in 2012, like it was for a lot of people. And in fact, it even began very early into 2011, 2012, I felt I had to travel, I had to move, and it's like at one time I just felt as if I was in a prison because I had to move. And that's what Mother Eve does. She pushes you to get to where you need to be, and you're thinking, oh no, I can't do this, it's painful, or we have a load of excuses. And Mother Eve is really saying, I am with you. Just remember, I am with you. I am with you. And when we understand the A is very A. So basically, when we are in A, we have this A here, we have the serpent, the serpent is on that same column, and the J too, to say join us or whatever it is. But this is the A, this is the sacrifice template. This is where the journey that is necessary for us to make. Everyone needs to go through that journey. But now Mother Eve is saying, it's like there's no time to really be talking about what that you are still in that sack. You are expected to get out of the sack. You are expected to get out of, to be weaned from the breast, so to speak, to be weaned from the bread. That's why it gets broken, because the break in itself is saying that's the end. You are ready to move into another cycle. That was what it was like when Moses broke the tablet of the commandments. It was another cycle, the demarcation of another cycle. That was what it meant when Jonah was in the whale of the belly, or the belly of the whale, the belly of the whale. That was another cycle. And Mother Eve was with him. There's an evening going there. Something is evening about that. There's a process. That's what Mother Eve does. She evens out. It's like a bridge. She bridges one point to another. Thank you, Mother Eve. She bridges the gap. That's it. And that's a wonderful thing to know. So now Mother Eve is saying, you need to recognize this 5 here. And she wants us to go from 5 to 9. It's like you just jumped. It's like a jump. You jump in ship, or you jump in, or quantum leap. We are ready to do this quantum leap. So of course, I remember asking Mother Eve, well, this is ending, this is beginning, which we have it on another scale. What is between beginning and end? And I was very amused to find out it's the 8. The 8, that's why Mother Eve ate of the fruit. Eating of the fruit is the bridge, is that which bridges you into the other realm. So back to what I'm saying about what you will find. You will find that your gifts, after you have activated your pineal gland, you will find that you won't have you will be happy to embrace the expression of your gifts. You will be happy. Oh, in fact, you wouldn't be bothering so much whether somebody thinks your work is good or not. I remember the first person who saw my manuscript, I was not really thinking, I wonder what they think about this. I was not thinking whether I would be judged. I was just really asking my ex-teacher, I was just really asking, can you really check my grammar for me? Because I wasn't the most confident. Of course, every writer still needs that. Can you check my grammar for me? I wanted to see if this makes sense, but I wasn't really thinking about whether I'd be judged. And then I had this thing, oh, I like this. I think you've got more. Do you know you have more than one book in here? And I thought, well, it feels like it, but I really just want to do this and just, get it over and done with. Despite that Jerusalem vision that I had, which was very clear. And towards the end, of course, I had been in touch with the with the publishers, and then it's like one evening or one night I had this vision as well, and I could see the books really labeled volume 1 and volume 2, and they were there handed to me, volume 1, volume 2. I knew I had to pay attention at this stage. So there's volume 1 and there's volume 2, getting onto the bridge of actualizing self-love. This is what we are talking about, bridging that gap. So I felt I had got onto the bridge. I was able to look at all the things that had at one time seemed to hold me down. I was able to express myself. I was able to say, no, I'm not having this. I could chuck this out. I don't want this. I could chuck this out. I really was at a place of elevation in my spirit. And it's a wonderful place to be. Really wonderful place to be. And these are things, again, you will have experiences. I'm doing these YouTube videos is that for a long time I had been told, oh, you've got such a lovely voice, and I thought, you know what, now God has given me those gifts. Not everyone's going to like my voice, but I get enough compliments from others who do love my voice, and I thought, okay, well, in that case, that's a gift I have been given, and it's time I express it. A gift is really something to share, or it's a shared thing, put it this way. If it was shared and given to you equally, that means it has the sharing characteristics in it, which that's what you will do. So Mother Eve is really asking us to be at a place where we can share of ourselves with each other in a way that is so authentic that we do not have to question our position, our aptitude or attitude, because we would have cultivated those attributes within us already. So if you are wanting to activate your Kundalini rise, or your pineal gland, we are talking about opening your third eye, activating your sixth sense, getting to know yourself at a depth and level that you had never known before, because you will be encountering all the blocks that had held you back. You will be able to look them in the eye and say, no more, I'm not scared of you. Or even if you feel a sense of fear, you would be remembering the famous words of the writer Susan Jeffers and say, I'm feeling the fear, but I'll do it anyway. In fact, you don't have to say I am. Feel the fear and do it anyway. That's what it was called, or is called, the book. Feel the fear and do it anyway. And trust the process. Trust is key. And you have Mother Eve with you to guide you, whether you want to see it as Eve or Jesus Christ, same thing, because this is what we have been told. When you are in Christ, you are a new creature, N-E-W, and you are in hair. This is revelation is going to reveal to you the path that you have to take. And there, of course, this is the fox state right there. And I used to think, okay, well, that means the new creature is the fox. And I said that in a lot of my presentations, but I only just recently come to understand that's the thing, because we tend to look outward. The creature is the serpent within you. The creature is the serpent within you. And now Mother Eve has also taught me that in the 8th cycle, and I just want to show you the before the timer ends, this is the entrance, the 7,000 year. We are ending that this here, the earth, where the earth brings forth fruit of great creatures after its kind. But this is where we're at. Mother Eve, they have really let us have the legacy of let us make man in our own image and likeness. We are meant to now take on the legacy that has been passed on to us, create that man, that new man that is going to go on the new set. So I thank you for your assisting or support or interest in this presentation. I hope you find it useful, and if you do like it, please share, give us a thumbs up, and leave your comments, and I would be happy to read them, of course, and of course share our views on the subject. Thank you, and let there be light in all you do. And there was light in all you do.